Hare Krishna. So continuing same mood where Mataji left us. Since it's Gaur Purnima, let's all sing one more Kirtan for the pleasure of Gauranga. Yeah? I think you all know this Kirtan. It's very famous Kirtan. So please, let's all join. Okay? Gauranga Karuna Karo दीनहीन जाने समापतिता प्रभु नाही त्रिभुवने गौरंगा करुणा करो दीनहीन जाने और समापतिता प्रभु नाही त्रिभुवने दांते तृणधारी गौरा लाठी है तुम्हारे कृपा करिए सो आमा हृदय मंदिरे जारी दयना कारिबे पतिता देखिया पतिता पावन नामा इसेरा लगिया Adichi Baba tu pane nahi kanistara Charana tarani rane dase kar para Adichi Baba tu pane nahi kanistara Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasiranu Dasa Atana Karaye Sada Narottama Dasa Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasiranu Dasa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasirano Dasa Pratana Karaye Sada Narottama Dasa Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasirano Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. I'm getting the same tune, sorry. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. We'll start with Mangalachar. All sing along. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lagunatambitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padha Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaurava Pravana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. Hare Krishna. First of all, I thank all the devotees for this opportunity. This is very nostalgic for me because few years back I started my journey from this particular center, and I see so many of my seniors, my friends, all sitting here, and it's a great opportunity for me to speak something from Srimad Bhagavatam for my purification. So if you take away anything from whatever I speak today, it's all because of my Guru Maharaj's mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, and all the senior devotees' mercy. And if there is any mistake, please consider it a mistake from my end. I need some more purification. So thank you so much. And coming on this day to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, thank you so much. So let's start. Today, I've been given the verse from Canto 1, chapter 3, verse number 6. Actually, this chapter is named as Krishna as the source of all incarnation. Right? And if you read the various Bhagavatam from different sampradayas, it is not the same title that we give. Every sampradaya has a different title. Right? So in the next 20 verses or so, we'll actually talk about different incarnation of the Lord. I think prior to this, we spoke about Purusha avatars of the Lord. And from here on, we'll speak about the different avatars. In fact, it is said in Bhagavatam that these are not the principal avatars. In fact, Lord actually takes a lot many avatars. Just like there's an analogy given, right? Just like the waves that are coming out from the shore, that many avatars Lord has taken. Right? So it's very important. Sutta Goswami in this particular canto, in this particular chapter, says Krishna is the source of all incarnation. Does anyone remember the verse? In this Bhagavatam. Yes. 1.3.28. Ete chamsa kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So very interesting word actually. If you see, Srila Prabhupada, in every book and everything that he has translated, one important thing that he has mentioned is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, what is Godhead? Has anyone thought about this? Why did he put the name Godhead? Yes. There are many gods. And who is the head? It is Krishna. Right? So there is no confusion here. And the sloka, just the one that we spoke, that is 1.3.28, it is called the Paribhasa Shloka, Stotra. Why is it called Paribhasa? What does it mean by Paribhasa Stotra? Does anyone know what is Paribhasa Stotra? It means it is the main verse. Like every Bhagavatam, every scripture has a main verse. Right? And in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Paribhasa Sutra is 1.3.28, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That is the main verse, that is the emperor verse. Srila Jiva Goswami says the 17,999 verses are like the soldiers. And 1.3.28, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, is like the emperor verse. Everyone follows this particular verse. So when you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the base should be this particular shloka. And that's the right understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. When you have this shloka, when you have understood this shloka, the rest all shloka is very easy to understand. It is very easy to connect. And in Bhagavad Gita also we have every scripture we have a Paribhasa Sutra. Does anyone know what is Bhagavad Gita's main emperor verse? No. No, that's not. Aham sarvasya prabho mata sarva pravartate. Right? That is 10.8. Right? So that is the emperor verse in Bhagavad Gita. Right? So in that also, everyone, I am the one and everything emanates from me. So that is the main Paribhasa Sutra from Bhagavad Gita. So here also, so today's shloka that Prabhuji has asked me to speak about is about the different incarnation of the Lord. So please repeat after me. 1.3.6. Sa eva pratamam deva kaumaram sargamashita chachara dushcharam brahma brahmacharyam akhanditam. Sa eva pratamam deva kaumaram sargamashita chachara dushcharam brahma brahmacharyam akhanditam. Sa eva pratamam deva kaumaram sargamashita chachara dushcharam brahma brahmacharyam akhanditam. Anyone from Prabhuji wants to recite? Saiva pratamam deva kaumaram sargamashita chachara dushcharam brahma brahmacharyam akhanditam. Mataji. Saiva pratamam deva kaumaram sargamashita chachara dushcharam brahma brahmacharyam akhanditam. Sa, that, eva, certainly, pratamam, first, deva, supreme lord, kaumaram, name the kaumaras, unmarried, sargam, creation, ashrita, under, chachara, perform, dushcharam, very difficult to do, brahma, in the order of brahman, brahmacharyam, under the discipline to realize the absolute brahman, akhanditam, unbroken. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the 4 unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. Purport? That's a small purport. The creation of the material world is effected, maintained, and then again annihilated at certain intervals. So there are different names of the creations in terms of the particular types of Brahma, the father of living beings in the creation. The Kumaras, as above mentioned, appeared in the Kaumara creation of the material world. And to teach us the process of Brahman realization, they underwent a severe type of disciplinary action as bachelors. These Kumaras are empowered incarnations, and before executing the severe type of disciplinary actions, all of them became qualified Brahmanas. This example suggests that one must first acquire the qualifications of a Brahmana, not simply by birth, but also by quality, and then one can undergo the process of Brahman realization. Translation. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were 4 unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. So who was the first living being? Brahma. And what was the order given to Brahma by the Lord? Secondary creation to populate, right? And what did Brahma do? He had four sons who were called the Kumaras. Does anyone know the name of Kumaras? Sanat Kumar. Okay, yes. So these four boys, so again, these four boys, they were young boys, right? And they maintained celibacy, and they were actually doing a lot of austerities to what? To understand the absolute truth, right? So, like every parent, even Brahmaji, what happens when every parent you have a kid? Huh? What is the first thing we always, when we are working, also we actually save up for that? What is it? No, to get married. Somehow I have to get my daughter married. Somehow I have to get my son married. So just like that, even Brahmaji, since he had been given the task to populate the earth, right? So he requested Kumaras to actually go and do that. The Kumaras didn't do that. They were stuck in this process. They didn't want to because they even prayed to the Lord that just keep us in this particular state, the 5-year-old boy state, not let us grow. Why is that? So when you grow, one of the important things that affects us is lust, right? And then we get entangled in the material existence. And they didn't want to enter into that stage at all. And that's one of the reason Kumaras actually pray to the Lord, just keep us this way, right? And it is said in scriptures that there is one thing that you can, where gurus give us a lot of instructions, but there is one thing that you can say no to guru. There is one instruction. What is that? To get married or not to get married. As per scriptures, this is an instruction you can say no to. And it's not offensive. It's not considered as an offense. Right? So, I have so many notes. And in this, it is said that they underwent severe austerities for the realization of absolute truth, right? And brahmacharyam is not something we should take it very cheaply, right? These are the qualifications to actually go do any kind of tapasya, right? We can't just do a tapasya if we just feel like, right? Brahmacharyam is a quality that we need to acquire, and only then we are supposed to do any kind of tapasya, right? So it is very important to understand that. And these are not normal jivatmas. They are jivatmas, right? But they come under the Shaktavesh Avatar. They are empowered jivatmas, right? And we cannot imitate them, right? It is said in scriptures we are not supposed to imitate them. And it is great to know that Kumaras, they were Brahmavadis. Does anyone know what is Brahmavadi? There are two things actually, Brahmavadi and Mayavadi. People get confused. What is Brahmavadi and what is Mayavadi? Does anyone know what is the difference? Okay. Mayavadis? Okay. Yes. So even Brahmavadis do the same thing, right? It's Brahman effulgence is no form.
So Brahmavadis are like they want to worship Brahman as the supreme Lord themselves, but it is not that they want to become God. But whereas Mayavadis, they want to enter Brahmajyoti and want to become God.
Yes, yes. It's a very nice explanation by Mataji. So Brahmavadis, actually, there is only one difference between Brahmavadis and Mayavadis. These are two kinds of impersonalists, right? This is Brahmavadi. So Brahmavadis want to merge into the existence of the Lord. That is Brahman realization. But they don't offend the Lord, right? Just like Mataji said, they don't want to become the Lord. And Mayavadis are someone who offend the Lord. And they want to become God. And generally, these people don't attain the Brahman realization also. It's only the Brahmavadis. So when it comes to Kumaras, they were Brahmavadis, and with the mercy of the Lord, they became Vaishnavas. Right? That's a long story actually. And if you talk about, everyone knows about the 4 different kinds of sampradayas. Yeah. What are the 4 different kinds of sampradayas? Brahma Madhava, Gaudiya Sampradaya, then Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. So Kumaras are the ones who started the Vaishnava Sampradaya. So the way it is said that everyone knows Nimbarakacharya. He is the principal scholar or Acharya when it comes to Kumara Sampradaya. So I think in the 10th century, Nimbarkacharya was not named Nimbarkacharya then. Nimbarkacharya was a very prolific scholar, and it is said that he had once a debate with a Jain Pandit, right? And the debate went on for long. So, but the Jain Pandit had told in the morning itself, by sunset, I will leave. I have to leave by sunset. So the debate went on and went on and went on. And by sunset, the debate was over and Nimbarkacharya won the debate. And like any other Vaishnavas, see, the Vaishnavas are very compassionate. So even after the entire debate, he felt very sad that he didn't offer anything to the Jain Pandit. And it was time for him to leave. Now, Nimbarkacharya is so powerful. Spiritually, he was so evolved. So he sat under a Nimba tree and he prayed to Sun God to actually return. And the Sun God actually returned. So that was the power of Nimbarkacharya. And that's why he was named Nimba Arka. So Arka means to call the God, Sun God. And Nimba is because he was under the Nimba tree. So that's how he got his name as Nimbarkacharya. Right? And at a later stage, it is said, as life goes on, Nimbarkacharya, with another Brahman actually, he was praying to Lord Shiva. Right? Lord Shiva actually being very pleased with him, he came and blessed him. Right? And that's where actually Vaishnavas come and actually give, when you ask for guidance, Vaishnavas are the ones who actually come forward and give you some kind of guidance. We'll talk about guidance a little later. And here, when you talk about Lord Shiva, he's the Param Vaishnava that we all know. And he said to Nimbarkacharya, why don't you go to Vrindavan? Go to Vrindavan, meditate on this particular place to Kumaras, and they'll give you the blessing with their knowledge. Right? And following the footsteps as said by Lord Shiva, they went to actually Vrindavan, they meditated on Kumaras, and Kumaras were so happy, and they actually blessed Nimbarkacharya with this particular knowledge. And that's how the disciplic succession from the Kumpara Sampradaya happened. Okay. This is a little about the Kumaras. See, in this, it is said that they have actually, if you look at the shloka, there are a few things that we have to understand. Kaumaram Sargam Ashrita. See, Kaumaram Sargam, name the Kumaras. See, Kaumaram Sargam is actually a stage in creation. It depends on the different kinds of Brahma and different stages of creation. So in this, it is called a Kaumara creation. It is a different stage of creation. So every universe has a different stage of creation. So in this particular stage, the Kumaras were born. Right? Okay. So these are the few things that I wanted to speak about when it comes to the Kumaras. See, so this is not based, you don't have to think that this is how the incarnations happen step by step, right? This is just categorically placed for our understanding. It is not that before Kumaras there were no one, there was Narada, there was Marichi, there were so many things, there were so many other incarnations. This is for a better understanding. These are principal ones that we need to speak about. That's why we have categorically staged them in this particular manner, right? Okay. So, anyone knows what is? We have heard this. What is the meaning of avatar? A lot of people actually get confused with the meaning of avatar. Yes, Lord descends from the spiritual. Ava means come. Tarine means descend down. Descend down from where? Spiritual world. So he is always existing, right? And this is something that a lot of people get confused, right? A lot of people get confused in our sampradaya also, when it comes to, we have different words actually, when it comes to incarnations, when it comes to expansions. Does anyone know what is the difference between incarnation and expansion?
Same potency of the Lord who then the expansion.
Okay, and incarnation?
Same potency is there, but he will not reveal them.
Lord Rama was an incarnation. So I'll tell you. See, incarnation is an expansion that comes into the material world. Expansion is an expansion that stays in the spiritual world. Okay, that is the only difference. So incarnation is an expansion that comes into the material world, and expansion is an expansion that stays in the spiritual world. Right? Let's see, one important thing it is a very good thing that we all are doing when it comes to our congregation, that we are listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. Not many of us get this fortune actually to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, but we actually take this process very cheaply. Especially me. I take this process very cheaply when we have so many senior devotees coming into our congregation and giving us lecture. We are actually busy with so many other things. There is so much pride in us that we actually see. The thing is, we have probably heard this a number of times. So in our mind, we say that we already know about all these things. Why to listen to this? And our mind keeps wandering. See, one thing we have to understand, why do we call Krishna the Grantha? Yes, in the form of book, in the form of sound. And what happens when we don't actually hear or give our rapt attention to this? We are offending him. Right? It is not just by theory we understand that Lord is actually the Grantha Avatar. We give him an asana at home. Where do we place our Srimad Bhagavatam? We place him in a pedestal, right? But what do we do when we actually come to a Bhagavatam class? Sleep. But it has its own benefits even when you come to Bhagavatam class and sleep. But I'm not telling you all to sleep. Because Lord's name and his pastimes has its own potency. Right? Lord's name and pastimes, there are so many devotees who actually come and say that I have been chanting for so many years, Prabhuji, and still that vasana that is there, that is not going away. Have you all heard? I think we all have experienced this also. Yeah? And it's not easy, right? It's not easy to actually take away all these anarthas, right? So in the 9 stages of devotional services, anartha nivritti is there, right? It is said by acharyas that is the longest stage. So we might call sadhu, shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, and we come to anartha nivritti. We are stuck there. I'll tell you, majority of us are stuck there. And this is a place where actually majority of us leave also. A majority of us lose enthusiasm also. But it's not an easy stage. It's a long gestation period. Why is it a long gestation period? Does anyone know? Why does it take so long? Simple answer, I think Srila Prabhupada has told. Longest, yes, because we have been here for millions of lifetime doing offenses, doing aparadh. Right? And what happens? What is the meaning of aparadh? Does anyone know? So today, I think a lot of things. What is the meaning of aparadh? We talk about aparadh, right? Radh means actually to worship. Apa means to take away from worship. That is called as aparadh. So anything that you do, aparadh towards holy name, aparadh towards a Vaishnava, right? This is considered to be the biggest offense. So Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said in Brihad Naranyaka Upanishad, there is a way to actually understand Srimad Bhagavatam and any other scriptures for that matter. Shrotavyam, Mantavyam, Nidhi Siddhaya. Nidhi Siddhayatva. So Shrotavyam means hear. Right? Hear very attentively. If you see Bhagavatam, the first canto is all about the Shrota, about Parikshit Maharaj. So much importance is given to Parikshit Maharaj. Right? You have seen that? So much importance. Not to Sukadeva Goswami, but it is actually Parikshit Maharaj. We have given so much importance. So when I say Shrotavyam, Mantavyam, Not just here with rapt attention. Srila Prabhupada uses this word rapt attention. Right? We not just here, mantavyam. We need to think as well. When a preacher or whoever is coming and giving us a talk, we need to think deeply as to what he is speaking. And then Nidhi Siddha, I don't know that word. So it is actually meaning contemplate. Okay? It's actually in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So it is here, listen and contemplate. So in short, that is what we need to do. So think about it. So that's what Srimad Bhagavatam does this to us. So Srimad Bhagavatam can be understood in different ways. So what is called? It is called Bhagavata Purana. The Purana means history, something that has happened, literally. One thing we can understand is that Srimad Bhagavatam, the things that is mentioned, has happened literally. Another way is to understand Srimad Bhagavatam is metaphorically. Metaphorically, like just like I think Narada, he was actually instructing Prachina Parishad about who? King Puranjana. So metaphorically, it's all of us, right? We actually put ourselves in that particular state. Another way to understand Bhagavatam is to get inspired. If you look at Ajamila's story, what he did and what is the state that he achieved, what are the difficulties that he went through, which should actually inspire us. So there are three ways of understanding that. One is Bhagavatam, it is literal, it happened. One is metaphorically, another is it inspires us. Right? And that is very important to understand. It is said in 12th canto that hearing Srimad Bhagavatam attentively, because Srila Prabhupada actually mentions this a lot of time, that you have to hear it attentively. He mentions even when it comes to chanting, we are supposed to chant attentively. Right? Why so much importance is given to hearing attentively? Because it's said in 12th canto that when you actually hear Srimad Bhagavatam attentively, you get direct experience of Krishna. You get direct experience of the spiritual world. It is said, it talks about the transmission of knowledge from Krishna to Parikshit Maharaj. The divine knowledge is because of the Shrota, because of the attentive hearing from the Shrota. So, Sri Krishna instructed Brahmadev, he was attentively listening. Brahmadev instructed Narada, he was attentively listening. Narada instructed Vyasadev, he was attentively listening. Vyasadev at whom did he at? Sukadev Goswami. Then Sukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. So one thing we need to understand, that it is all because of attentive hearing that we have this particular knowledge available to us. Right? It's very important. So Parikshit Maharaj is a great devotee. He's the emperor of the whole world. Right? Everyone, all the prajas and everyone were happy under him. So everyone knows the story of Parikshit Maharaj, the way he was cursed. He was told that after 7 days, Takshak will come and bite and kill him. See, Parikshit Maharaj is such a empowered soul. He is spiritually so evolved. He could have actually reversed that particular curse. But what did Parikshit Maharaj do? He took it as a will of Lord, and he gave up everything at that particular time, because he thought, I just have 7 days now. Let me immerse myself in hearing the glories of the Lord. So what is the main thing that is missing in Parikshit Maharaj in our life? Can anyone tell? No. Yes, seriousness and the urgency. Right? Urgency is something that is missing. It's such a beautiful shloka in Mahabharata is there. When Yaksha is actually asking Yudhishthira Maharaj, Hani hani bhutani gachanti amadayam cheshata varamichanti kimashri madaparam. So he's telling what is the most astonishing thing in this world. And what does Yudhishthira tell? Death. Every moment people are dying. And we still think we will live for long. right? So that is happening in our life as well. So Parikshit Maharaj knew that 7 days he would die, and he wanted to immerse. But we ourselves don't know when we will die. Probably we don't have 7 days ourselves. But are we immersing ourselves in Srimad Bhagavatam? No, we are not. So this opportunity that we have to immerse ourselves in Srimad Bhagavatam, we should consider it as a mercy of Vaishnavas upon us. Right? And the thing is that we take everything so cheaply. Right? We just come into a congregation, we follow certain rules, and then we look down upon people. We do that. I follow the 4 regulative principles. What do you do? Right? And we look down upon people. See, rules and regulations are good as long as it takes you to the purpose. Rules and regulation otherwise is not good if you're just going to stick around there and have pride that I'm following this particular rule and someone else is not. Right? Rules and regulation in scriptures, mentioned in scriptures, are supposed to take us to our purpose in life, which is Krishna Prema. Right? And one of the main qualities of a Vaishnava is that compassionate. Right? So what we do in our life is we actually look down upon people. And that is a great offense actually. Being a Vaishnava, you are supposed to be Paradukha Dukhi. And that is very important. We forget this. Only when we have to read a class or when we have to give a class, we actually remember this. Otherwise, Paradukha Sukhi we are. Right? Offend people. Someone actually talks or points out a mistake in us. What do we become? We become lawyers. And when we actually point a mistake someone else's, we become judge there. So our mistake, we become lawyers, and someone else's mistake, we become judge. Have you all noticed that? Because the thing is that we don't want to look at the dirty things that is there in our heart. We find others' things more dirty. See, we won't, in a very materialistic sense, we won't find our stool and all so dirty as compared to others' stool. In a very material sense, I'm talking. Which is true. Someone else says, yeah, she will probably run away from the place. Ours is still okay. So that is what we need to understand from the anarthas that is there within us. Someone points it out. How are we supposed to react to it? It is not an easy thing. It takes immense amount of practice to actually come to that stage and understand and work upon it. Right? So what I would do is I would actually go into the next shloka. I will discuss a little more. We'll discuss a little more because today I want to talk about guidance. Today I want to talk about how, guidance is one important thing that I want to talk about. That is very important because whatever stage we are in, because we think that is because of our own endeavor. Our own endeavor matters, but a lot of prayers and help from our Vaishnavas is the reason that we are here. Right? When you talk about the 9 stages of bhakti, people think that you actually cross a certain stage, you don't need to worry about the later stage. Right? You come to Anantarivritti, Ruchi, Nishtha, Ruchi, Ashakti, then Bhava, Krishna Prem. Right? Ruchi, Nishtha, you reach, we don't need sadhu sangha, we don't need bhajana kriya. Right? That's not the way. Every stage is a step by step, and that step is required for us. One step you take out, what happens? You fall down. So if it is said in Acharyas, everyone knows the story of Bharat Maharaj? Yeah. So Bharat Maharaj, he was a king and he actually renunciated everything and he became a sadhu. And it is said that he was in the bhava stage when he got attracted to the deer. And it is said by the acharyas that there was one thing that was missing, and that is sadhu sangha. Right? So whenever we are going through this particular stage, or if you have crossed this particular stage, don't ever think we have crossed any particular stage. See, every stage has a certain degree. Initially, when we started off, we had a certain degree of understanding. After a few more years, you are practicing bhakti, your understanding increases, right? But you still need that particular stage. That is very important. Yeah? So let's look at the next sloka. Let's please repeat after me. Dvitiyam tu bhavayasya रसातलगतं महिं उदरिष्यानुपादाता यज्ञेशा सौकरं बापू. Any of the Prabhujis want to decide? द्वितीयं तु भावयस्य रसातलागतां महीम् विदरिष्यानुपादाता यज्ञेशा सौकरं वपु. Mataji?
द्वितीयं तु भवायस्यास्य रसातलगतां महीम् उद्धरिष्यनुपादत्त यज्ञेश सौकरं वपु.
Thank you. Dvitiyam, the second. Two, but. Bhavaya, for the welfare. Asya, of this earth. Rasatala, of the lowest region. Gatam, having gone. Mahim, the earth. Udarishyan, lifting. Upadatta, established. Yajnesha, the proprietor or the supreme enjoyer. Saukaram, Augish. Bapu, incarnation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. Purport? The indication is that for each and every incarnation of the personality of Godhead, the particular function executed is also mentioned. Therefore, there cannot be any incarnation without a particular function. And such functions are always extraordinary. They are impossible for any living being to perform. The incarnation of the boar was taken to the earth out of Pluto's region of filthy matter. Picking up something from a filthy place is done by a boar. And the all-powerful personality of Godhead displayed this wonder to the Asuras, who had hidden the earth in such a filthy place. There is nothing impossible for the personality of Godhead, and although he played the part of a boar by the devotees, he is worshipped, staying always in transcendence. Translation again. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. So there is one important mention by Srila Prabhupada. He says the indication is that for each and every incarnation of the personality of Godhead, the particular function executed is also mentioned. See, every incarnation of the Lord has a particular function, and that is mentioned in the scriptures. Now, what we see in the market is that a lot of people, they follow a certain guru or whatever, right? And if the guru shows some kind of magic, some mystic power, they actually name it incarnation, right? He takes out Bhagavati, he takes out gold. They name it. Say any kind of siddhis you have, you name it incarnation, right? And that is not the right way of understanding. The incarnation of the Lord is actually mentioned in the scriptures, and they all come for a specific function, and that is also mentioned in the scriptures. So when it comes to Varadev, there are actually two types of Varadev, right? There are two types of Varadev. One is Shveto Varadev, Shvetavaradev is the one who actually comes during the partial annihilation. And this is actually the Raktavaradev. Raktavaradev is the one who actually fights whom? Hiranyaksha. Everyone knows the story? I think everyone knows the story. Right? So probably a kid also would tell it, recite it very nicely. So Jai Vijay, because they were cursed and they had to come to the material world. So one of them actually became Hiranyaksha and one of them became the Hiranyakashipu. Right? So Hiranyaksha was always hyper. He just wanted to disturb the Devtas all the time. He wanted to disturb, Indra was scared, Brahmadev was scared, everyone was scared. And he was so powerful, he actually disturbed the entire cosmic manifestation, and actually Bhumi Devi fell off the orbit, fell down to the hellish planets. Right? What is after Borloka? What all are there? Atala, Vitala, Satala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Right? So it is said that it actually went into the lower planet system. Right? Garbhodaka Ocean, yes. Right? And it is said, so why does Lord incarnate as a boar? It is mentioned here, special function. Because boar is the one, so Srila Prabhupada says, boar is the one who actually takes out filthy, who goes into the filth and takes out the matter. Right? It has got two horns, so it's very easy for it to go down and actually keep the Bhumi Devi on its tusk and come back. Right? So Lord has actually taken that incarnation. So there is one interesting pastime actually. So when actually Lord took this particular incarnation of a boar, see, a lot of people actually think, how can Lord take incarnation of boar, right? It is very difficult for us to comprehend within this teeny weeny mind that we have, right? So that's why Lord says, Janma karma chame divyam, right? My janma, my karma, everything is divyam. It's not material. It's not like ordinary living beings. Yeah, avajananti ma muda. He says, people who don't know are mudas, right? So we have to understand that level. We have to understand. See, it is very difficult for us to understand Srimad Bhagavatam also. A lot of things we actually question ourselves. Chitraketu had millions of wives. One is so difficult. I'm just joking. Right? Millions of wives, and we think, is it even possible? And we start doubting Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? And it is very, see, one thing we have to understand, even while reading scriptures, it is said that we are supposed to take a humble mood. And the humble mood is that we have to understand, we look into the world with this perception, this life that we have. This is the only life that I've seen. The 30, 40 years that I've been in this planet, that's all the experience that I have. Beyond this, I don't know anything. So when we are open and understand, that is called humility. And we look into Srimad Bhagavatam and read, understand Srimad Bhagavatam, that's where things started manifesting. If the knowledge that is present in Srimad Bhagavatam is actually transmits within your heart. And that's why Srila Prabhupada says, when that happens, you see Krishna in every page of Bhagavatam. Right? So when Varahadev actually went down and he actually got Bhumi Devi right from the filth, right? It is said, what happens when you see a boar, when you feel a hog who actually goes into that muddy area or gutter and it comes out, it shakes itself. You have seen that? Yeah, it shakes itself and people around just move away. It is said in the scriptures, when Varahadev actually went down and he came up and he was going to shake, all the Devtas were actually waiting for Charnamrit. So that is the reference. Right? Lord is transcendental. Right? And when Varahadev actually comes out and he's trying to put Bhumi Devi back into the orbit, Hiranyaksha is completely hurling, abuses his Varahadev. Abusing Varahadev. Abusing. And it is said by Srila Prabhupada that Varahadev actually feels bad. He feels discouraged. Can you imagine? Srila Prabhupada says, because Lord is sentient. He's just like us. He has feelings. Right? So there is a nice, and he was feeling discouraged. He was feeling very discouraged. And it is said that there is a similar pastime of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada, when he was in Bombay, then it was Bombay, now it's Mumbai, his health was deteriorating in 1977 in the month of May. And the doctors, and Srila Prabhupada said that it's time for him to actually go back. He has to leave his material body. And his disciples actually took him to the doctor, and the doctor said it's fine, he can go to Haridwar, take him to Haridwar, the weather is good, he will feel better. So all the disciples actually took Srila Prabhupada to Haridwar because the weather is good. And they went there, and Srila Prabhupada was still not feeling nice. He was still feeling bad. He felt his health is deteriorating even further. So he told his disciples, please take me back to Vrindavan. So his disciples took him back to Vrindavan. And he was in a very bad state. And what Srila Prabhupada did, as soon as he came to Vrindavan, all his disciples carried him to Krishna Balaram temple. And there he gave a very powerful class. He gave a very powerful class. Talk about material existence, talk about death. And the people, the disciples, the people who have come to hear him all in tears. First of all, they know Srila Prabhupada is suffering. And he has already declared that I will probably leave the body. And the mix of emotion, they are feeling sad, that thinking about separation from Srila Prabhupada, feeling bad, hearing the great lecture session given by Srila Prabhupada. And these are mixed emotions that was running in the entire hall. And then after the session, the disciple Tamal Krishna Maharaj and various other disciples actually took him back to his house, which is in the back of the Balaram temple. And there, as soon as he reached, Srila Prabhupada fell in the arms of Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And there was something that he told Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He said, please encourage me. So we have to understand, this is very important. As Vaishnavas, it's very important for us to encourage devotees. Even any kind of seva, be it for a small moment, everyone looks for some kind of encouragement. We cannot judge someone in the same pedestal. For instance, I'm talking about book distribution. There are a lot of people who can give a lot of time because they have managed the time well. Some people can't do it. Doesn't mean they are lesser. Probably whatever time they had, they came and did distribution. But we are supposed to encourage them for what they have done. And this is very important. Srila Prabhupada tells Tamal Krishna Maharaj, please encourage me. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj starts off, oh, you are the savior of the whole world, Srila Prabhupada. You came here, that's why we are here. And he was so happy, Srila Prabhupada was so happy. Tamal Krishna Maharaj ensured that every day someone comes and encourages Srila Prabhupada. So this is what, when I just came back, I don't know why I came here, but because we were talking about Varadev, and he was very discouraged. Varadev was very discouraged because Hiranyaksha was constantly hurling abuses. He was also feeling discouraged. So when the fight started, he started hitting with the mace and sword fight. The mace fell down from Varadev's hand. And Brahmadev is actually shouting, Lord, this is not, don't take this match so aram se. Take this very seriously, Lord, only you can save us. So Brahmadev and various other devtas also started encouraging the Lord. And that's when Lord actually lifted his mace and annihilated Hiranyaksha. This is so nice to hear this, right? So it's very important for us to actually, when we are in a congregation, to actually encourage each and every devotee. That is everyone is earning for that. Everyone is aiming for that. Right? Just because you are a devotee, we say that we talk about humility. You know, we are not supposed to, right? Amanindina manadena, not supposed to accept any kind of. But in the beginning stage, not just beginning stage, at a later stage also, we all look for some kind of validation from everyone. At least I look for validation. And Because that's how we are conditioned. That's how we are conditioned. Right? And because when we are actually chanting the holy names also, right, we come into bhakti because of certain issues, we become frustrated by the material world, we come into bhakti, we start chanting the holy name, and we take holy name also for granted. Because we came here because of independence, to enjoy our independence. So we have the same conditioning even when we are chanting the holy name. That is not gone. And that's when pride starts swelling up. And we start interpreting holy names. And these are the various kinds of offenses that we have. And that's the 10th offense is the one that is actually the main offense, not having faith in the holy name. That's the root cause of all offense. We take so much pride, right? And then we commit offense. And when we commit offense to the holy name will never give us their mercy. Never give us their mercy. So Mayavadis say that holy name, we don't need to worry about holy name. Lord doesn't have a form, he doesn't have a name. But our Vaishnava Acharya says, within the name you have Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Sanatan Goswami says, I wish I had 1,000 ears and 1,000 tongues to actually chant the holy names of the Lord. Who wants to make this prayer? 1,000 tongues, 1,000 ears. 16 rounds. Japamala becomes the heaviest in the morning. Right? Becomes the heaviest. Sanatan Goswami also says that when I actually chant the holy names of the Lord, the holy name actually takes into the spiritual world. So that's the power of holy name. That's the power of attentive hearing. Please don't expect, let's be very realistic also. Please don't expect things to change overnight. Right? A lot of devotees, after practicing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that still I have no experience of the spiritual world. That's why I said the stage of Anartha Nivriti is the stage, it's the longest stage. Right? And Lord is so merciful. Lord is so merciful. Just like the boar, he comes into our heart, the most filthy place. He actually comes to this degraded place to uplift us. Shranavatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtanam Hidayanto Soha Bhadrani Vidunoti Suhurat. Right? So we don't need to worry. See, the thing is that we need to have faith in the holy name. When we have faith in the holy name, what does Krishna do? He comes himself. He comes himself as Paramatma. And he starts cleaning the dirt within ourselves. Who does this? Only a compassionate Lord will do it. Right? Who else will do it? The most filthy place is our heart. Greed, envy, jealousy, lust. My God. So many things start popping up when we actually start doing our japa. Then we actually feel disgust. I call myself devotee, and these are the thoughts that are coming in my mind. Right? But have faith in the holy name. Right? That is very important. Faith in the holy name is very important. And as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that is one primary thing that we all need to focus on. Right? And not just in the holy name, when we are actually hearing also, that is very important. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is so important. Taking guidance from the Vaishnavas, our seniors, right? Taking guidance from them. You should not feel very bad or even reluctant to ask for guidance. Right? Guidance is so important in our life. At a certain stage, when we reach certain stage, we feel that we can handle it from here. I have seen everything. I don't need guidance. That's where you actually need guidance. When you listen to the story of Narada Muni, Narada Muni in his previous life was a maidservant's son. Right? And his mother used to do menial tasks. They had a small hut. And there was a time, because of Lord's mercy, there was a time where I saw a lot of sadhu sannyasi actually came to their hermitage. And they said, Mataji, can we stay here for a day? We're actually going to a pilgrimage and we wanted to rest here. So she was so happy. She said, please. And she immediately put Narada in service. See, one thing, good thing about ISKCON is what? When you start hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, when you attend a class, right? It is not just hearing. We actually do a lot of service also. The class talks about Krishna, what? Jivera Swarupa, Krishnera Nityadas, we say. And after the class, we hand over the mop to the Prabhuji and tell, can you mop the altar? Right? That's the ideal way. Yeah? Service should follow what you're hearing. You have to put into practice what you're hearing. So what I was talking about is Narada Muni. And Narada Muni's mother took this as an opportunity. She told Narada, he was not called Narada then, he actually go fetch whatever fruits you could find, fresh fruits, and actually offer it to the sadhus and sannyasis and take care of them. And she cleaned the whole place. The sadhus were seated. Narada Muni actually offered so many fruits and eatables to the sadhus and sannyasis. They were so happy. They were actually discussing the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this little boy was listening and hearing. He was hearing so attentively. So attentively. And this attentive hearing actually helped him. This attentive hearing actually helped him. Then at a later stage, after the sadhus went, as the time progressed, his mother, as she was fetching firewood, a snake bit her and she died. So at that point of time, this little boy was so upset. But he remembered the words that were coming out of sadhu's mouth. And he meditated on those words. And the divine words of the Lord, as sound it came, you are in the right track. Now you are not qualified to see me, but continue doing what you're going to do, that is, do devotion service to me, and you will reach me. So that's what attentive hearing actually helped Narada at the time of distress. At the time he felt there is no one to look after this little small boy, when his only hope was his mother, and she left the world. And from there, that little boy's journey started. And he started doing various devotional activities, visiting various different pilgrimages, going in pilgrimages, various dhams, and he was doing serving Vaishnavas and various other things. And what happened? He became Narad Muni. He has got entry into any place. He doesn't need to even knock getting into Dwarka. Right? So that is the state. So keep having faith, keep taking guidance. That is very important. Keep having faith in Nama. It is very important. As Gaudiya Vaishnava, it's very important to give the focus to what you're doing. Early morning. See, the thing is, we always talk about quantity. And we miss the quantity. Quality is important. Quantity is also important. Quality is more important. And that is more important. So, anytime you're taking the beat back, ensure in whatever capacity you are, this many rounds, I'm going to be very attentive. Right? Take a journal and write down. Today I did 4 rounds very attentively. Tomorrow I'll ensure I'll do 5 rounds attentively. Do this for a month. Because this is something that I have done. I tell you, it has worked. Write down. And whatever thoughts also you write down. This is where I probably wasted a lot of time. This is where I got a call and I had to drop and pick the call. Write down a journal. That will help. And have faith in the Holy Name. Right? See, a lot of people say, if you don't have faith, just keep chanting. Well, that has got its own benefit. Right? Nam Akari Bahuda, these are Sarva Shaktis. Right? And because every name of the Lord has its own potency. So Ajamila used to chant, but he never used to chant attentively. But that chanting inattentively also helped him at the time of death. Who came to fight the Yamadutas? Vishnudutas came. Right? I'm not telling do initiative chanting right now, and Vishnu Dutas will come. See, these are some things that we need to learn. These are some things that we, for us to make our faith in Holy Name more stronger. So after that particular episode, Ajamila took it very seriously, and for the next 12 years, he chanted very attentively. And then he reached his destination. So that's very important. I'm just seeing if I missed anything. We have another 15 minutes. So what I'll do is, see, when it comes to service also, I'll just take a few more minutes. And when it comes to service also, it is very important that once we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, once we hear Bhagavad Gita, it is very important. They always, our acharyas, our seniors always say that put it to practice. And that's very important. If you don't put it to practice, theoretical knowledge will only help you so far. It will only help you so far. If you go and cross beyond that, you need to put things in practice. Right? Jivera, just like I told, Jivera Swarupa, Krishnera Nitya Das, if you just have that in your mind, that is not going to help. How are you Krishnera Nitya Das? Actually, Gaudiya Vaishnavas actually go a step beyond. Dasanudas, we say. Right? We are servants of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Yes. So it is very important to actually put things into practice. And I'll end the session with a nice story. And it's a nice story. I don't know if it's related to whatever we are speaking right now, but I just felt I should speaking about it. Actually, if you actually read the Chaurashtakam last 4 verses also, right? Dhanam cha manam cha, the entire last 4 verse is actually, that was the thing that was reminding me when I was actually reading about Varadev. Right? So I don't, you have your Krishna is, Bilvamangal Thakur is actually talking about Krishna stealing away everything, Dhanam, Manam, right? Pranam, he's taking everything. If you take everything, where will you run, Krishna? I am going to tie you with my devotion. Right? I'm going to tie you with my devotion. See, Krishna, you can actually you can actually unknot the Yamapashana, Yamadutas. You can unknot the material bondage, you can unknot the material existence, but you cannot unknot the devotionally tied knot by me. And there is the last sloka, last 2 verses. What is the last 2 verses? Does anyone know? The Chaurashtakam is only, I only listen to it when it's time. Yes. And but the last thing is that when he says that, Lord, you're going to reside in this dirty place. I'm going to arrest you and keep you in this dirty place. Kala grahe vasasata hidaye madihe madbhakta prana. I forgot. Tvam Krishna hai. Actually, last verse is where he actually calls him Krishna. Till then he was calling him Chor only. Tvam Krishna pralaya koti satantareti. Koti satantareti chauram mochayami. Yes. So this is the punishment that is given to Krishna. Who can give punishment to Krishna? Only a devotee can even try and do that. He says, I am going to actually arrest you. And what is the dandam that you are going to get? You're going to stay in this deep, in this dirty heart for long, for eons of life, millions of life. You're going to be arrested in this, and you can't do anything about it. So it is just like Varahadev, right? Varahadev goes into filth and actually uplifts Bhumi Devi. And just like that, Lord actually comes so compassionate. He comes within our heart, such a degraded state, and He actually uplifts us. I wanted to talk about this particular story of Ramanujacharya. Everyone knows Ramanujacharya? Yeah? Ramanujacharya, such a wonderful personality he is. And when he was small, right? He used to go to this particular Gurukul, and his guru at that point of time was a Mayavadi, he was an impersonalist. So he used to talk so many things about God having no form, and every time Ramanujacharya will come and refute it. Guruji, this is not the way it is. Shastras say this is how it is. So Guruji is also kind of impressed, but he doesn't want to admit that such a small boy is actually refuting my arguments and actually giving me pramanas reference from scriptures. Now what happens, his teammates are there, his other friends are there. Not exactly friends, classmates are there. Just like you would have generally noticed, no? If there is a topper in class, he gives all the answers, the rest of them look at him with envy. Similarly, there were classmates. They were like, this guy is acting too much. Right? We have to do something of this guy. This is always insulting our guru. Talking nonsense and always insulting our guru. We have to get him killed. They come to a stage where they thought they will kill him. So they had actually planned a trip. Just like Circle Yatra. Yeah. They planned a trip. In our Circle Yatra, we don't kill anyone. So just like so from Kanchipuram, they were actually going to a pilgrimage. And at that certain point of time, they had to take rest in a forest. And that particular time, those guys were all teaming up and they said, today we will kill him. And out of that, there was a small boy who felt really bad and he came to Ramanujacharya and he said, these were actually plotting to kill you. You please run. Ramanujacharya, such a small boy, got scared and he ran away. He ran into the forest. He didn't know where he was running into. He ran. At last, he saw a pathway lit with moonlight. And he walked the pathway and it was leading to a hut. And in the hut, there was a majestic man, a hunter. He had a monkey on his shoulder. And he had a very beautiful wife. She was glowing. So much Aishwarya she had. So as soon as he reached, he said, you're looking like Lord Ramachandra. And Mataji is looking like Mata Sita. So hunter is telling, who is Lord Ramachandra? Who is Mata Sita? You look lost. Right? Let me actually take you out. Let me actually show you the way out. And in the meanwhile, you can actually talk about who is Lord Ramachandra and Mata Sita. So it was a great opportunity for Ramanujacharya. So actually when the hunter actually walked him out and was taking him out of the forest, he was talking about Lord Ramachandra right from childhood, right till he killed Ravana. Right? He was so happy to actually talk about Lord Ramachandra. When they reached a certain stage, a hunter's wife actually felt very thirsty. And she told, I'm very thirsty. Can you get me water? So the hunter was actually going to get fetch water. But Ramanujacharya said, see, you have helped me so much. You actually got me out of the forest. One little seva let me do. Right? Let me fetch water for Mata. And he said, and he went and he went to a well. He saw a well. He went to a nearby, and that well seemed very. Some place felt like he was there already, and he had actually reached Kanchipuram, back to Kanchipuram. And he was thinking, days and days we are traveling, and within few hours I have reached Kanchipuram. And then he went back, fetch water, and he went back, and he couldn't find the hunter and the wife. So again, because Ramanujacharya was scared of that particular guru and other classmates, he never went back to that particular Gurukul. He took shelter under another guru, who actually was a Vaishnava, who was actually serving God. I forgot the name of that particular guru. Tikal Nandiya. I'm not sure about the name. So he started serving and he was learning Shastras under him. So this particular guru had a benediction that he could actually, his main seva was actually fanning the Lord. And he had this benediction that he can actually converse with the deity. So all the other people, if they want to ask something to the Lord, they ask him, the guru. So what does Lord think about this particular thing? He says, tomorrow I'll tell you. So Ramanujacharya, after reaching a certain stage, he went and asked his guru, that can you ask Lord, what should be my seva towards him? He can tell me, then I can do that. So that particular morning, this guru went and spoke with the deity. I told this particular boy, Ramanujacharya, he's asking, what should be seva towards you? And Lord speaks to the Guru and he says, oh Ramanujacharya, I know him very well. Just tell him to fetch water from the well and give it to Lakshmi Devi. Which well? He said, you don't worry about that. You just tell him, he will know. And what happens is, this Guru went and told Ramanujacharya that Lord has told that fetch water and we give it to Lakshmi Devi. And that's when everything flashed. Ramanujacharya, the hunter, and his wife were no other than the Lord Himself. Right? And that's why we have to understand that guidance, taking from guidance from Vaishnavas, serving Vaishnavas, serving the Lord is very important. Right? I don't know why, like I said, I don't know why I told this story. I just felt like it makes more sense. And it's a very nice story also. Right? As human beings, we are more attracted, more than Siddhanta, more than philosophy, we get attracted to stories. That's why we go watch movies. Yes. So with this, I would like to stop. And I thank you all for listening. I'm sorry if I, by words, offended anyone. That was not what I intended to do. Thank you for hearing. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Today, I'm very confident to answer questions because I have my seniors, my friends, everyone here. So even if I don't know, I'm sure they will answer. So, yes.
Varaha is the third incarnation, right?
Yeah. Third incarnation? No, that you're talking from Dashavatars, this thing? See, that is, Dashavatar is something that is written by Jaydev Goswami. So that is just a principle. See, what happens is, in general public just think that there are only 10 incarnations of the Lord. Right? But as per Srimad Bhagavatam, there are more incarnations. So it has become popular. It is only popular and they feel Varadev is the third incarnation. Actually, there are many, many incarnations. Right?
Yeah, it should be third, right?
So here,
Here
so
it says second.
see, that's why I said it is not based on first, Dvitiya, Tritiya. It is not based. It is just categorically they wanted to place avatars for our understanding. So don't go by saying that. That's why the purport also says don't go by saying that it is the Dvitiya avatar, because prior to this there was Marichi, Narada, and all of them. This is just for categorical understanding that they are put in Srimad Bhagavatam. Good, Fauzi, I can't hear you. Yeah.
The soul leaves the body, one of the
Okay.
So the soul, if it does not have a spiritual body, then that is called Brahman.
See, Vaikuntha planets is beyond the Brahman realization. Vaikuntha planets is the spiritual world. So there are 3 stages of understanding. What is the first stage? Brahman realization. What is the second stage? Paramatma realization. What is the third stage? Bhagavan realization. So Brahman realization is where the devotees of the Lord actually pray or want to merge into the effulgence of the Lord. Brahmano aham pratishta. Krishna says the Brahman, the effulgence that you see is actually coming out from my body. Right? And here is where the sadhus or the people want to merge within that. That is a different, that is not Vaikuntha planets. When you are into Bhagavan realization, that is where you enter the Vaikuntha planets. So there is Brahman realization where you want to merge into the light of Brahma Jyoti. And the second realization is where you actually understand the Paramatma seated within your heart. You meditate on that. That is Paramatma realization. And the third is Bhagavan realization where you understand Bhagavan as a form. Right? Nama, Guna, Rupa, Leela, everything else. And this is all manifesting in the spiritual planet. That is Vaikuntha planets. And Vaikuntha, there is a lot of planets. There is Dwarka, there is Ayodhya, there is Mathura, there is Goloka, there is so many planets. right? So when soul leaves, so again, it depends on what all activities, what is the kinds of devotional services that you have done. Based on that, the soul achieves a certain destination, right? What you have done the entire life, if you have meditated on the formless aspect of Lord without offending the Lord, you merge into the Brahman effulgence. But if you are serving the deity form of the Lord, always thinking on the form of the Lord, you reach at the time of death, you reach Vaikuntha planets. And it's not guaranteed. You have to do it. just coming on Sunday and listening to Srimad Bhagavatam class won't get you there. We have to do this on a regular basis, right? Yeah. Yes. Yes.
It is good that they fell down to hellish planets.
Yeah.
That's why Lord has incarnated that word.
Yeah.
So here the translation is go here somewhere near how
What is written, Prabhu?
solved out in the Bhagavad written that as when here somewhere near
Pluto's existence. Pluto's region of filthy matter. It is just a way of telling that it went somewhere down. Somewhere down. It is not exactly the Pluto planet that we're talking about. It's not even a planet now. Yeah. It is just mentioning about where it dropped down for the orbit and it fell down. And below Earth is all the hellish planets. So it's just a mention of Rasatala also. Right? Rasatala, Gatam, Mahim. Right? So these are all hellish planets only. So that's where they actually that's why Hiranyaksha disturbed the whole cosmic manifestation and the Earth had to fall off down. So Pluto's region, you don't have to take it in a literal sense. Prabhupada actually mentions saying that it is somewhere far down. That's all.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it was very awesome class. So I'm not encouraging this. You said that we should encourage you. Rather, we can see that in each field, you have very huge note, and even you have so much points to give us also. I also have noted so many points. Thanks for the awesome class. Prabhuji, about this, in the 1.3.6, we discussed about the Kumaras and on the point more focused was series. So as for my time understanding, I understand that they were very small and why we are giving so much importance to cities. Isn't it in this earth also the kids they follow that? Once we grow up on it, those are the cities as Panathur. This is first question. And if to prove this point, you want to say something they have seen in a previous life or why we are focusing on that point. So.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Nice question. See, actually, celibacy is very important, right? And that's why we have different varnas and different ashrams. Yeah, we have different ashrams. And when you're talking about Gurukul, the way it was designed was that the 25 years of your life, where do you spend it? Brahmacharya. And that's where actually you give importance to celibacy. So it is. So now that is not a culture that we follow, and that's why we see so many fall downs and so many things that is happening, right? And these, see, like I said, certain rules are there for the ultimate purpose to reach the ultimate destination. And once you enter into brahmacharya, there is an option for us to enter grihasthashram, and that is again for regulative methods only. Just because we get into grihasthashram, we cannot go wild. Again, it is again matter of regulation. Because the primary motive of a human form of life, what is it? And we have heard this multiple times. Animals, what are the 4 different things that we do? Should we do the same thing? We do the same thing, but we need to regulate it. Right? That is very important. So that's why celibacy is given so much importance. Because what happens is, if you get into those activities, it is very difficult for us to, because the samskaras coming out from that if you don't follow celibacy, remains for a very long period of time. Probably we have done that for millions of lifetimes. That's why we are here. The samskaras don't go away at all. If you heard Kartikeya Prabhuji's class, he talks about that, right? If you get into those such activities, the samskaras remain in your head for long, long, long time. Imagine doing that on a regular basis. So that's why celibacy is given so much importance. And so when it comes to Kumaras, you spoke about they did not have any kind of experience, right? See, one thing you have to understand, the level of intelligence, there are various levels of intelligence. Some people understand by hearing. Some people understand by seeing. And some people understand by experiencing. Right? Kumaras had understood the Srimad Bhagavatam also. They actually initially they learned the Srimad Bhagavatam from Lord Sankarshan. They heard it from Lord Sankarshan. So they are in that, and again they are called as Shaktavesh avatars. They are all empowered souls. They are not like Jivatmas like us. Right? So for us to understand a certain thing, it is not important for us to experience it. Right? So when I see someone meeting with an accident, to feel the pain, do I have to go and meet with an accident? No, I can understand from here. I can see and understand. Right? You can hear and understand. So there are levels of understanding. And the highest level is actually hearing and understanding. That's why they say an intelligent person is someone who hears and understands, hears things and contemplates and then understands. The lowest level of intelligence is the one who experiences. Yeah? So they didn't have to go through that. Yeah? So 12:35, this is the first time I stopped the class on time. I wish my wife was here so that I could have told her. The thing, the thing is, I get carried away and I start discussing various other things. Just like why I was just thinking why I spoke about the Ramanujacharya story. Because I love that story. I thought you all should hear it. So thank you so much. Prabhuji. My God, this is going to be a very tough question for me.
There's no question. I want to share it.
Yes.
What a point you shared. I also have the same problem. I have to tell everyone that so I can understand how passionate the people are because those participants.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much for it. I really enjoyed the entire class. Few takeaways from today's class which I'd like to share is so here is Srimad Bhagavatam the rapt attention because we are attending Krishna directly. That's how we are attending. So that is nice and we get a direct perception of Krishna. We are doing that is one point. And the last which I would like is keep a diary for your chatting. That's the only way to get it. Otherwise, we will be there in this millions of lifetime chatting.
Exactly. That is so. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Can you give an example of incarnation, expansion,
So incarnations are the one that I spoke about. Varadev is an incarnation. Varadev is an incarnation. Expansion, there is Lord Aniruddha, Sankarshan, right? All the four Chaturvya. You heard the Chaturvya? The Chaturvya is where the Lord expands. So Krishna is the source of all incarnation. So when Krishna expands, what is the first expansion? Balram. And from Balram comes first Chaturvya. What is that? Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Vasudeva. Right? That is the first. And from Sankarshan comes Narayan. And then Dvitiya. Dvitiya Chaturvya. Again the same. Right? So these are the four different expansions that I mentioned. Those are expansions because they are in the spiritual world. Just like I spoke about Kumara, where did they get the Srimad Bhagavatam? Where did they hear it from? From Lord Sankarshan. Right? So expansion is someone who sits in the spiritual world. Incarnation is someone who is there in the spiritual world, he comes also. So that's why there is a lot of doubt when you actually talk about the general public. Krishna is an avatar because it comes from Vishnu. Is that wrong? Is that wrong? He's avatari, but it's not wrong also. Exactly. So one way, there are two ways to understand this. Krishna is an avatari right? And Krishna is an avatar also. Krishna is the source of all incarnation, but when he wants to come into the material world, he comes through Mahavishnu. He comes through Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So in a way, the general public who have no understanding of Shastra, whatever they are saying is also right, but there is a deeper understanding, right? And that deeper understanding you get when you actually read Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Okay, then I'll stop the class. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Come and serve you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, hope you all enjoyed this session. Haribol. Really thanks for the wonderful session. And firstly, as Mini mentioned, I also had a lot of takeaways from your session. Especially, I'm also going to start having a journal to capture my chanting and see how I'm going to improve my chanting as well. Thanks for that point. We're so fortunate to have Sabareesh Prb over here, in spite of his busy schedule. Prabhuji has 19 years of experience in information technology industry, currently working as a sales head for a US firm. He's been practicing Krishna consciousness for the last 5 years, and he's heading the Sajapur Center under the guidance of Mr. K. Prabhu. And he's also the Gita Course instructor. I have been a great fan of Prabhuji's Gita Course classes. I had only the opportunity to listen through the YouTube, but today I've been fortunate to have a live session from Prabhuji. Prabhuji, thanks again. Please visit us often and then give us requests. So let's chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Prabhuji's spiritual welfare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Go for a few announcements. So tomorrow, Monday, 10th March is Ekadasi, Amalakri Ekadasi. So please try to make sure that you follow the Ekadasi fasting. And also 14th March is Gaur Purnima, right? Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day. So requesting everyone to take a day off or at least take some time. There are a lot of sevas that